everybody and welcome to Social Media Part 1. So this part is for Key Stage 2 children between the ages of 7 and 11 and focuses on safety and social media. So first of all, we're going to talk about what social media is. Now, I'm jumping into the assumption that a lot of people your age probably already have experience with social media, but if you don't, then check out the About page on our website. But essentially, social media is any sort of website or app that lets you communicate with other people via the internet. Social media is really exciting and super fun, but it also can be kind of dangerous, especially when you're young. So if you're learning with a teacher or parent, I want you to right now tell them as many rules as you can remember that you have been told about social media. Feel free to pause this video if you want more time. So now we're going to play a little game. Up here on the screen I'm going to have an image of Paddy's TikTok account. TikTok is a social media app that is really popular with young people, particularly those under the age of 15. Now on this account, Paddy, our little character, has made a few mistakes that kind of are a bit of a risk for him. So I want to see if you can identify those mistakes. Pause the video now and see if you can tell your adult what Paddy's done wrong. There may be a few things that you have that I don't, and there may be a few things that I have that you don't, but here are the answers that I got. First of all, at the top of the screen, Paddy has his full name. Next, his icon is a photograph of himself. His username is PaddySaw2007. 2007 gives away his birth year, which in turn gives away his age. We can see by the fact that the follow button is present and by how many followers he has in relation to how many people he's following that Paddy is definitely not setting his accounts to private. This is a bit of a tricky one, but right there next to the follow button is the little icon that takes you to Instagram. So we see that he's linked his Instagram account to his TikTok account. Again, this is maybe a trickier one to notice, but he has his friend's name in his bio. If you put on a public account that your best friend's name is Mary, a bad person could take advantage of that by using a sort of, "Hi, I'm friends with Mary" sort of line to try and get your trust. And then last of all, right at the bottom, he has put his school name, which gives away his location. Before we get into everything, I want to make it very clear that social media is usually labelled for users 13 years and older. Now I know this seems a bit unfair, but it has a really good reason, and social media can be a really dangerous place. So generally I encourage you to 100% follow those rules. But at the same time, I do understand that you are growing up in this world that is absolutely surrounded by social media, and I also know from experience that at your age you might want to be pushing some boundaries. So if you are going to start exploring social media, I want to teach you how to do it in the safest way possible. And one of the ways to do this is to keep your family in the know. You might be worried that they're going to shout at you, but they will find out sooner or later if you do have a social media profile. So if you have one, it's best to make it very clear from the start and to talk to them about it. There are definitely going to be some sites and apps that you know how to use a lot better than your parents. And it's kind of fun that here you get to teach them a little thing. Because if you're using an app, you should always make sure that your parents also know how to use that app. But if your family are clued up on the apps you're using, which I'm sure is the case for a lot of you, then make sure that you are following each other. I know it sounds a little bit lame and you do run the risk of seeing your mum's embarrassing selfies, but it is a brilliant way to keep you safe. And the most important rule concerning talking to your family about social media is making sure that if you ever get a strange comment or message or any sort of interaction or anything that makes you uncomfortable, tell somebody. So I'm sure if you've ever talked to any adult about being on social media, you know that there are a lot of rules, and I know that sometimes it must seem really confusing and it feels like there's so much to remember. My absolute #1 rule for being online is to act like a super spy. It seems a bit strange, but the general idea is that as a young person, you do not give away anything online that you wouldn't if you were a super spy trying to hide from somebody. So as an example of this, I'm going to pop a few words on the screen and I want you to discuss with your adult which ones you think are safe to put online. Actually, none of them are. All of these carry a risk. We did discuss this briefly earlier, but basically anything that gives away your identity, your location, names of people you care about, your age, were all things that you shouldn't do if you were a super spy trying to hide from someone. They could all give away something that you want to keep secret. One of the most dangerous places on any social media site or app is the private messages. The number one rule when it comes to direct or private messages is to just absolutely ignore any message that you receive from somebody you don't know. It sounds really mean, but if something was that important, then the person who was contacting you would find another way to contact you more directly. A way to avoid messages from people you don't know altogether is to set your profiles on private, and this is a really important rule to have in general. If you don't know how to set your profile on private for any of the social media that you use, I do have some helpful and handy guides on our website. But remember, even if you are talking to somebody that you know in real life and that you feel completely safe with, if you ever receive something that makes you feel uncomfortable, tell an adult. So that's all from us at the Key Stage 2 level. If you want to know more about communication in social media or jobs in social media, please check out our Key Stage 3 or Key Stage 4 presentations. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you again very soon. Bye!